I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Namaste, India. As you all know, good evening. Welcome. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. The big question mark on the fate of Imran Khan is something that is a question that's being asked around the world. Is he dead or is he alive? Has there been a silent coup in Pakistan with Field Marshal Munir reinforcing his strength through amendments of the constitution of the country? But it's been 27 odd days since Imran Khan has been seen by his sisters, his family. Just a few minutes back, I spoke to Imran Khan's sister, Noreen Niazi, in this exclusive interview. Noreen ma'am, thank you very much for speaking to us. It's now been, 27 odd days since you've been unable to see Imran Khan. Why are the authorities denying you permission to meet Imran?
I have no exact idea, but I feel that they don't want anyone to meet Imran Khan and bring his message outside the jail. This is what I feel. And secondly, they want people to get more disturbed. You know, you keep thinking what is going inside the jail. And this is like an abuse. It is like a mental and physical abuse of Imran Khan. They put him in isolation, which is a crime according to jail manual. They can't put any prisoner more than 4 days in isolation. But they have kept him, last year they kept him for 3 weeks. Again, he's in isolation for, I think, almost a month.
Ma'am, there were concerns about his well-being. There were all sorts of rumors on the internet. Do you believe that he is physically all right?
I think he should be physically all right. I think they should not even dare to physically harm Imran Khan, because that is a red line. I think if they do that, it will have, I think the country will be in chaos, because all the country is behind, the public is behind Imran Khan, and they are all waiting to see him. So they dare not do anything to him. They can't.
Ma'am, you are convinced that he is all right, because that's the bottom line. There have been all these rumors. I know that the authorities have said that he is. Do you believe them?
I think they cannot go to that extent. These rumors are just to make disturb the public and his supporters. And they maybe, I don't know why have they done it, I have no idea. But they should not even think of harming him physically. He's 100% healthy person. He has no medical issue. And I think they should not even think of doing anything to him.
Noreen ma'am, this comes at a time when people say there's a silent coup in Pakistan, because with the 27th Amendment of the Constitution, General Asim Munir, he has unlimited, nobody can touch him for life. The legal system doesn't impact him. There is no accountability. Do you believe that this has been timed at a stage when there are so many who say that there needs to be justice for Imran?
There need to be, the justice for Imran is, everybody's out for that. And, unlimited power, we don't believe in it. The ultimate power in our religion is with God, Allah Ta'ala. So he thinks he's all powerful, but he's still not. Because in our religion, there is nobody powerful than the God. So inshallah, I think with Imran Khan, there's all support for him, and I don't think they can even touch him, and they should not dare touch him, because then there will be no powerful man left.
Ma'am, do you believe that you need to strike a deal with the government? Are you willing to do that to get Imran out?
No deal. Imran Khan is going to, has talked about it. They've sent people to talk with him, but he won't make a deal, and they want him to say sorry. For what sorry? What they have done, they want him to say that the 9 May false flag was done by Imran Khan, which was not. It was their plan. They have done it, and they want him to take the responsibility. He won't. And instead of him saying sorry, you will see, they will ask him, they will apologize, and he will be out.
And ma'am, just one or two questions. I know you need to move on. There is now, according to the new law, the judges can be transferred by the President of Pakistan, which basically means that the judges will be bound to listen to what the President has to say. For someone like you, who relies on the legal system for justice for Imran, is this not a problem?
Everything is a problem now because there is no justice system left. But still, we will go through the judiciary as it is being done. They are responsible. The judges will take decision, and we will go according to the law.
And ma'am, one final question. His sons have actually appealed globally for information on their father. This must be an incredibly difficult and trying time for the entire family. How are you able to cope with this dreadful situation?
I don't know how are we coping. It is very painful. It is disturbing, and it's also worrying that, with them being all powerful, they want to do something to him, but they should not. They shouldn't dare do anything to him. We are there. We will stand for his justice, and inshallah, he will get justice.
Noreen ma'am, thank you very much for speaking to us at NDTV. Please do take care. Thank you. Well, joining us now, Sushant Sareen and Raja Faisal, a journalist in Pakistan. Thank you both very much for being with us. Sushant, what did you make of that interview? I found it interesting that Noreen Niazi says that they wouldn't dare to touch Imran Khan. He's just too strong in a sense. Is that what you believe as well?
Yeah, I think, Vishnu, the way I look at it, Imran Khan, they can't release Imran Khan because if he comes out, he will rally the streets, he will rally his supporters and make life miserable for this regime. And if he stays in prison and something untoward was to happen to him, then I think what his sister is saying is quite correct. But unfortunately, Pakistan has had a very sordid history, Vishnu, in which there have been political leaders who have been tortured in jail, people who have been killed. We've had the example of Nawaz Sharif sending one of his cronies to cut off Asif Zardari's tongue many years back. So we've had a number of cases like this. And there is a real fear that Imran Khan, given the kind of stand he has taken against this particular regime, is really a noose around their neck if he was to ever come out. So they can't allow him to come out. And if they kill him, then of course all bets are off because look, he certainly has a huge following. The surprising thing, Vishnu, is, and which is what his sister was asking that she can't understand, and that is what nobody can really figure out. Because if you look at the drum beaters of this regime, or people who toe the army line in Pakistan, if you listen to them, they'll tell you that Imran Khan is finished, his politics is finished, he can't rally people, even if he issues a call, nobody comes out. One of his last final call, which he had called for, fizzled out. His party is dismantled. They are not winning elections. Maryam Nawaz Sharif claimed that it is a stupendous performance with almost 34% youth unemployment. and poverty levels reaching almost 50%. It's a stupendous performance under which they have actually swept the by-elections which were held recently. So Imran Khan is finished. Now, if that is what the situation is, then why are they terrified that Imran Khan might talk to his sister or his lawyers and say something, against this particular regime, make a scathing comment against them? And are they terrified that if he was to say something, this regime would start tottering?
Yeah, okay.
It's inexplicable why he has been kept bottled up. Assuming that he is well and he's in good health, he hasn't been assaulted or worse.
Raja Faisal, I think Sushant makes an important point. To anybody who says that Imran is a spent force, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is finished without him, and there are divides within the party. Is that correct, or does he remain overwhelmingly the most powerful leader in the country, except he's behind bars?
Yeah, I would second Sushant when he says that, of course, Imran Khan is single-handedly the most popular leader of Pakistan. And of course, right now he's in the jail. And we have seen that Pakistan has a history of whenever there is somebody in the opposition party, they do go through this kind of treatment. But this time around, it's quite different. Reason being, if we take the example of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, when he was in the jail, and the cases on him, they were related to Panama leaks. We remember that even I was one of them who actually advocated that he should be let go. Reason being, his health conditions were very bad at that time. So during Imran Khan's government, he was let go, and that's why we saw him, of course, in London. He was treated there for his health conditions. And same goes out for People's Party as well. We always see the pictures of Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto. Once she used to stand outside of the jails, just trying to meet her husband. And this kind of treatment has always been there. But this one is entirely different, I must say. Reason being, when we talk about Imran Khan has not lost a single iota of the publicity, right, or the populism that he enjoyed throughout his, the last decade of politics.
Raja, just hold on for 1
people
second.
are still intact with him.
Right. I just want to keep the strike rotating. Dr. Syed Elahi, a political analyst, former MP and Health Minister of Pakistan, with us as well. Dr. Elahi, good evening. Thank you for being with us. Has Pakistan just witnessed a silent coup with the 27th Amendment having been pushed through by General Munir? The fact that he is not accountable to any judges, neither is President Zardari, that in fact Zardari is allowed to shuffle judges who he doesn't like. Does that essentially mean that there is no way in which Munir or Zardari can be prosecuted in Pakistan, or action can be taken against them?
Thank you very much for inviting me. I think the amendment has been passed in the Parliament of Pakistan. So the people, most of them, 2/3 majority has passed this amendment. So obviously it means the whole assembly supports this amendment. But as you said, that the accountability of president or someone else will never happen, it doesn't happen at all. Previously, General Musharraf was tried under Article 6 and was sentenced to death and then life imprisonment. So I think for time being, yes, one can get an exemption, but later on, different courts and lawyers and law takes its course, and if somebody is held accountable for some crime, he is tried. So I think this is a for time being arrangement, but in the long run, it can be effective for 2 or 3 years, maybe, or 5 years. But ultimately, the courts take its law.
No, but
the law takes courts,
and people
most
are
respectfully,
Dr. Elahi, General Munir is Field Marshal for life. He is now consolidated his power by becoming Chief of Defence Forces. So he's General Field Marshal, Chief of Defence Forces, Asim Munir. I mean, he's had this amendment pushed through in a sense. You can say it's been done by Parliament. But is this not Pakistani dictatorship in a more strident form than we've seen in the history of Pakistan?
I think every country has its own conditions. In Pakistan, we are facing different problems, like in TTP from Afghanistan and other uprisings, and different law and order situations. So Pakistan is not easy to rule because of its tribal background and tribal culture also. As you know that even big cities or the surroundings have a culture which is tribal. So I think to handle those situations and this culture, you need a very strong government and also the support of army and armed forces to control things like, as I told you, TTP cannot be controlled by civil administration or police. So army has to take its role in KP or Afghanistan border or Balochistan border.
Syed Saab, just
so
one
that's
sec.
why
Sushant disagrees. Sushant, what Dr. Elahi is suggesting is that there is no space for civilians to rule Pakistan
No, there
because
is
of all the
space.
problems that
but
he's
some
stating.
areas no.
Vishnu, I don't know. I find it quite hilarious listening to Dr. Elahi and the defense he is giving of what is very clearly a power grab by the military. You called it a silent coup. This was a coup through parliament. You arm twisted the parliamentarians. It's a rubber stamp of a parliament. These guys were not even elected. 90% of them won through fake elections. Most of them had lost their seats. So this is the parliament that Dr. Elahi is speaking so eloquently about. And see, the Pakistanis haven't been able to decide, do they want a democracy or do they want a dictatorship? They should decide once and for all. Just let the guy in uniform run the country. What is the problem? Why do you want to keep this facade of democracy which does not exist? The courts do not exist. Yes, he's right only to the extent that tomorrow, as long as Asim Munir is in power, he's the lord and master, he's the king and emperor of Pakistan. All of these guys are going to genuflect before him. The day he's out of power, you will wait and see the kind of stuff that will come out. So you will see this in Pakistan. The moment a new army chief is made, there will be glowing accounts about his professionalism. I don't know how somebody becomes a general if he's not a professional. But in Pakistan, they'll talk about his professionalism, they'll talk about virtues that the guy himself does not know he has. The day he's out of power, they will spit on him, they will spit on his grave. This is Pakistani culture, right? Now, the point is that you love the guy in uniform so much, just damn it, just make him the king and emperor. Why do you go through this charade of democracy which does not exist? Secondly, on this whole Nawaz Sharif business, look, Nawaz Sharif, as it later turned out, he wasn't unwell. All those medical reports were being churned out through the military's dirty tricks department to convince Imran Khan to let Nawaz Sharif go because Nawaz Sharif could not take prison anymore. He'd spent about a year and a half in prison. He could not take that hardship anymore and he prefers to go into exile and live to fight another day. Imran Khan, on the other hand, people, including myself, and I must say I was proven wrong, Imran Khan was a guy everybody thought that he will not be able to stay in prison for more than a week. But here is this guy who simply refuses to bow before the dictator. And I think whether you like him or not, and I'm not a fan of Imran Khan, but I have to admire him for the kind of courage and fortitude that the guy has shown. And finally, this whole business about this culture of humiliating your opponent. Yes, Raja is right. Pakistan has a culture of humiliating your opponent. You don't treat your political opponents with grace until and unless you have humiliated them, you have humiliated their families, you have attacked their properties, you have done all kinds of nasty things to them. You don't feel that you are in power. So the way they stamp their authority is by humiliating opponents, and then they call it a democracy. So that's why I say, the charade.
Right. Okay. So let's get Dr. Elahi to respond to that. I mean, why pretend to have any democracy?
I will not agree with the speaker who was there. I think every country has its own democracy. So we have our own democracy, which suits us, and India has its own. And
no, sir, this is not an India-Pakistan match, and I'm not making it that.
Finish,
I'm only trying to tell you, sir. I'm just trying to understand. I think Sushant makes an important point. Why have a facade of a democracy when the military has always been in power? Even now,
no, it's not like this. in Pakistan, military is sharing power because of different reasons, as I told you before. Other thing is that humiliating the opponents. What is doing BJP? Even Mr. Modi, they are humiliating their opponents.
No, sir.
And this
I
happens
have
in
no
politics.
problem in talking about the BJP
So the
and the
problem
Congress
is
in
that
India.
in Pakistan,
This
it's
is not
happening.
India, Pakistan, sir. I'm only trying to understand your country.
I'm
sir.
comparing about humiliation. When it was mentioned, so in politics, every country, they humiliate their opponents. India is the biggest example.
Okay.
But as he said about democracy, that in Pakistan, most of the people who were elected, he was my other speaker was saying about election and all that. I think all elections have been verified by courts. So now the people who are elected are in the parliament,
Dr.
in
Elahi,
Senate.
Dr.
So they
Elahi,
have
I
all
must
the
come
right
in over
to
here
bend
and
the law
I'll let you
and
have
to
the
run
final
government.
word. But Dr. Elahi,
Yeah.
where are the courts if the president of Pakistan, who
all present
works
there.
under the thumb of the general, can actually decide
sir.
what happens to a judge? A judge can be
Sir.
transferred at will. Therefore, the entire
No, sir, no.
judiciary will be beholden upon the supreme leader. In their case, that's going to be the president of the country. How can the president of a country decide if a judge goes here or a judge stays there? Therefore,
Sir,
where is the law of
in
the
no
country? Where is the law of the
In
land
no
ultimately?
country, in no country, there are men, like in Pakistan, there were only 35 political cases and 1.9 million other cases. So judges were politicized and they were deciding about political things, not about general people. They were not deciding 1.9 million cases. They were concerned about 35 cases. So the new amendment has curtailed them and forced them to decide about general people's case
And
or
so
1.9
everything about
million
political
cases.
leaders is beyond accountability. That's what you're saying.
No, nobody is beyond accountability. Pakistan has the worst accountability because every politician has gone through accountability process through
Sir,
different accountability
Field
courts
Marshal Munir has
and even
ensured that he
authorities.
is not accountable to any judge. Neither are your armed forces chiefs and neither is President Zardari because of this constitutional amendment. How can political
because
leaders...
that I told you before that they are not accountable right now. But ultimately, everybody will be accountable to the
But
courts.
how will that happen, sir?
It will happen as it happened before.
How is that?
And Musharraf was tried. And even before Musharraf,
all right,
many people were tried.
Well, Dr. Elahi, we believe in, I'm sure we all believe in democracy, and we hope that that day arises when, for various conditions, the present circumstances will change in Pakistan. Sorry, Sushant, out of time. We'll leave it over there. Let's hope Imran Khan is all right, and let's hope that democracy isn't a sham. We'll take a short break. More coming up.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
On the open fairways, under a vast sky, a new chapter in golf was written. The inaugural NDTV PGTI Golf Pro-Am Tournament, uniting business leaders and the best of Indian professional golf for a day of strategy, skill and pure sporting spirit. From booming drives to clutch putts, catch the action at these times.
They have inspired us. They have redefined what's possible. They have shown how ideas spark inspiration and create impact. NDTV Indian of the Year 2025. Ideas, inspiration, impact. Coming soon.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones, brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else, only on NDTV network.
Chat, chill and vibe with the original game changer, the one and only यो हनी सिंह बनने के पीछे की आपकी कहानी, ये नाम कैसे पड़ा?
मेरे दोस्त हैं गोवा से, तो वो हर चीज में यो that's yours, yo that's yours. जिना तेरे ना सी प्यार हुण किते हो भी नहीं सकदा, रातां नूं मैं सो भी नहीं सकदा.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है.
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी सब विदेश जाते हैं. The best app to use is the NDTV app.
On the open fairways, under a vast sky, a new chapter in golf was written. The inaugural NDTV PGTI Golf Pro-Am Tournament, uniting business leaders and the best of Indian professional golf for a day of strategy, skill and pure sporting spirit. From booming drives to clutch putts, catch the action at these times.
The front lines of Kargil, the fury of Operation Sindhu,
so many attacks,
the chaos and cries of disaster zones, to fighter jet cockpits, and the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break, live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country,
Hard questions.
in the Ukraine,
30 years of trust.
in the Kargil area,
North Ukraine and France, in Italy.
at Srinagar, Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom, only on NDTV.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Fayakun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
On the open fairways, under a vast sky, a new chapter in golf was written. The inaugural NDTV PGTI Golf Pro-Am Tournament, uniting business leaders and the best of Indian professional golf for a day of strategy, skill, and pure sporting spirit. From booming drives to clutch putts, catch the action at these times.
Welcome back. President Donald Trump has fueled a seismic debate tonight, doubling down on his promise to drastically reshape U.S. immigration policy. Following a deadly attack in Washington, the president took to social media, vowing to implement a permanent pause on migration from all third world countries, a sweeping escalation of his administration's efforts to crack down on unauthorized and disruptive populations. He's also pledged to end all federal benefits for non-citizens and to deport those deemed non-compatible with Western civilization. The move is being hailed by supporters as necessary action to restore order, citing surging border apprehensions and security concerns. However, critics are sounding the alarm, warning that such a blanket ban risks catastrophic economic fallout. Mass deportations and a reduction in migration could reduce U.S. GDP by billions, crippling vital sectors like agriculture and healthcare that rely heavily on immigrant labor. The White House faces immediate legal challenges and global criticism over the plan's feasibility and its scope. It's a huge concern indeed. Well, joining us now to look at this, Rohit Sharma is an immigration expert, Prashant Ajmera, Professor Richard Painter, Raymond Vickery, and Sudhanshu Kaushik. Professor Painter, let me come to you first. Just what Donald Trump has said, I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries. Is that legally tenable?
Well, generally, Congress sets the immigration policies, and it's the job of the President of the United States to enforce the immigration policies of this country. And what we have here is that President Trump just wants to make his own immigration policy. He is correct that some previous administrations have failed to enforce the laws on the books, what Congress allows and does not allow with respect to immigration. There certainly were failings during the Biden administration, but that doesn't mean that President Trump gets to make immigration policy on his own. He needs to work with Congress, and there are critically important economic issues here because our country has, ever since our founding, depended on immigrants to grow our economy. And we have immigrants from all over the world, and I'm not sure what the term third world really means anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have some of the largest economies in the world, India, China, Brazil. I don't know what world he wants to say those economies, those countries are in, but we have many immigrants from all over the world, and there's no evidence that immigrants are more likely to commit crimes than other people. We have crazy people of all sorts from all different races, including people whose families have lived here in the United States for generations who go off and commit crimes. But the vast majority of Americans, the vast majority of immigrants are here to work hard and to help grow our economy and live the American dream.
Raymond Vickery, I think the statement, I'll permanently pause migration from all third world countries, has many around the world wondering what exactly is a third world country in today's day and age. For example, would India still be considered a third world country?
Well, I guess third world, I guess the phrase.
Thank you very much for having me. It's perfectly apparent that you have to have a reasonable immigration policy founded on bedrock principles of the United States, namely that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. That doesn't say first world people or second or third world. It says all people, and that's been a bedrock of United States law in terms of how we deal with the rest of the world. What Trump is doing now is opting, when he says third world, for a form of xenophobia. And that is to try to rile up politically his base by pointing to people who are different, supposedly foreigners. And would that include Indians and Indian Americans? In many minds of MAGA supporters, it certainly would. And it is a disastrous approach from any perspective you look at it, from a financial and building prosperity economic situation. Indian immigrants to this country, Indian Americans, are the highest per family income group. All you have to do is look at the major companies of the United States and you'll see Indian Americans there. So this is nothing more than what Trump is trying to do with his henchman Stephen Miller, and that is to stay in power by xenophobia. This is not going to work. We have elections coming up in this next year, midterms, and I predict that this will be a major factor in his erosion of power. It's very regrettable as an American. It's particularly ironic coming just after Thanksgiving, when we have celebrated immigration to the United States and the Native Americans sitting down with the immigrants.
Yes.
The president is married to an immigrant, and he wants to divide somehow. And it's obvious that this is not only xenophobic, but has a strong racist and other implications.
Sure.
So this is a
it is.
approach.
Mr. Vickery, half a second. I just want to go back to Professor Painter. I found another statement, Professor Painter, fairly astounding when Trump says that he might denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility and deport any foreign national who's a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. What exactly is Western civilization?
This makes no sense. We can denaturalize someone who's naturalized pursuant to the laws of the United States. We have laws in this country, and those laws are made by Congress, and the president's job is to enforce those laws. And so there's legitimate debate about what to do with the millions of people who are here illegally.
Yeah.
And obviously mass deportation is not going to work in that instance. But there's a debate about that. There's legitimate, but to simply take away the citizenship of people or the green cards, other authorized immigration under the United States laws, that's a seizure of power by the president of the United States, far exceeding what he has the right to do. And at some point, we're going to have the court step in and tell him that he simply can't do that.
Yep.
There's only so much presidential power we can tolerate in this country before we have a king in the White House. And that's exactly what our founders rebelled against when England and Great Britain sought to dominate the United States and have a king who would make the rules. And we have this issue with tariffs. The president thinking he could set his own tariffs. The president thinking now that he could deport people who are lawfully here. And what he's going to do is destroy our economy and our democracy at the same time. And more Republicans, conservative Republicans, are getting quite upset at this president. We saw Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia resign from Congress because of her disputes with a president who seems to think he could do anything he wants, whatever he wants, including the vindictive prosecutions. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yep.
And we simply cannot tolerate this. It's not a question of Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative. We need to live according to the principles set forth in our Constitution of our founders, which meant a limited power for the presidency, not what's going on right now.
Sudhanshu Kaushik, as Executive Director of the North American Association on Indian Students, how do you think, things like this would impact the entry of Indian students to American universities. Indian students have been the largest international cohort of students at American universities. Indian families spend incredible amounts of their savings to pay international fees, send their children abroad, and then to try and live the American dream, at least as students, learn from the best American education systems. Why would anybody want to send their children to an America with this environment? Not just because of the immigration statement, but because of so many other norms. For example, social media is going to be vetted before you actually get an American visa. You will not be allowed to protest on campus, etc., etc. Is America becoming less attractive to Indian students?
Vishnu, I've been asking myself that question now for almost a year, over and over again. Every time there's news, an executive order, a new immigration rule, I keep asking, is it worth it? Is it worth it for those international Indian students or international students in general, but any immigrant that's trying to come to the United States? Now, I will argue that for a lot of people, it is still worth it. The ability to succeed in America is a shot that a lot of people want to take and are willing to have the risk appetite. What I do think is of a cause of concern is just not international students or Indian students, but overarchingly is how safe they are here in the United States, how safe they feel. Vishnu, you've spoken a lot about this in the past year, but the hate rhetoric specifically against not just immigrants, but Indian immigrants has skyrocketed. Texts, Twitter is a cesspool of people just trying to placate the blame on Indian immigrants and their success here. And so what I fear right now is not necessarily the fear of people being able to come in and succeed, but the fear of those that are already here and how they can kind of go on being safe and sound as all these kind of contexts and issues go on, and this entire fear of being deported. Even though
Sudhanshu, let me just interrupt you for half a second. You said something interesting and frightening. I mean, as somebody who represents or speaks for Indian students in North America, in the United States rather, are you getting students who are saying that I am the victim of a hate crime, or I am the victim of a hate message? Not one odd student, but many, many more than what you've heard of or seen in the past?
So first is we've always had that,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Since the founding of our organization, we've had people call in, email, and say they're going through a racially motivated hate crime or instance. Thankfully, not as serious. Has the instance of racism/hate crime increased in certain periods of time that are reflective in today's time, especially now in 2025? Yes. I mean, these are kind of not necessarily instances of hate crimes that, let's say, for example, unfortunately go into death or the victim is it's a serious crime, but rather even day-to-day monotonous kind of instances where you're shopping. I mean, just literally a month ago, I personally was in Wisconsin taking a vacation, and I, for the I think for in a very long time, went through at least a racist kind of incident, and from someone that was kind of unexpected, right? And so this kind of day-to-dayness, and because we are kind of spread out everywhere here in the United States, right? You'll find us in Madison, Wisconsin. You'll find us in Alabama. You'll find us in the big cities. These instances have been occurring all the time. So absolutely. Do I have, is there statistical kind of significance of these racial crimes kind of being such a big impact that will deter immigration and specifically Indian students? Maybe not, but it's something that people kind of think about over and over again as they come in.
Prashant Ajmera, what does this mean, this new ruling, to those who seek the American dream, whether it is seeking to move from an H-1B to a green card, or applying for an H-1B, as difficult as it is in the first place?
That is going to affect them because it's not very clear, and we all are making a guess on that. But basically, we have to understand that there are 4 ways the people become a permanent immigrants or a green card holder in USA. One is the family class sponsorship. The second one we are talking about is the employment-based immigrations, where all the students converts from their H1 to a green card. The third one is an asylum seekers and refugees. And the fourth one is the rehabilitations, that the people are in Afghanistan and they were brought into USS, 75,000 of those ones. People are in crimes and the government has decided to bring them in. And if you look at this one executive, the statement came just week before where they said that they're going to recheck the immigration status of about 233,000 asylum seekers whose green card has been approved. I think the president is talking in that respect and those peoples, and plus where the government has tried to brought in these immigrants who are coming from the war-torn zone like in Afghanistan and those ones, not related to the regular immigration, because those are the quotas are there, the law is there, passed by the Congress since last 32 years.
You know, Prashant, let me interrupt you simply because I disagree. If you look at his statement, it says, and I quote, "I'll permanently pause migration from all third world countries," not all third world countries are warring nations, "to allow the US system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge security risk or non-compatible with Western civilization." Rohit Sharma, how do you see the statement?
Yeah, in fact, to start with, incident like this is regretted. But as regard this, statement by Mr. President is concerned, I see it more as a knee-jerk reaction more than anything else. Because to say that overnight you can simply ban immigration, it is easy said than done. If you remember, this statement was made in 2017 as well. Now it is more to direct or to make comments about Mr. Biden's last, tenure with the U.S. as president, and I strongly believe this is more towards asylum seekers or the refugees that are living up there. And having said so, I actually also want to make a statement here, because rather than simply coming up with such breaking news of, and creating that kind of a perception in the mind of people where start thinking, oh, US is closed, and so many parents, so many people who are actually thinking about migration already are there, start getting, panic because of all this. More than, giving such breaking news, Mr. Trump should actually look into that why in the first place we are talking about this illegal immigration has happened in US. So their infrastructure, their support system actually has to look into more deeply than anything else. And yes, he's right when he's saying that illegal immigrants and all that, he just want to see them off, and that should be taken care of. But I could sound a bit rude as well here, but to say that, because this has happened, so all the immigrants who are living up there become overnights, a threat to the US, because I think in the past we have seen so many crimes have happened, where people who are US citizens, even that has happened from their end. So immigration is going to go big time, and in fact, last year students have the maximum number of students actually have landed in US as well from India.
No, so are you saying that no? So bottom line, Rohit, I'm out of time. Are you saying that this is Trump's statement is it's just what Trump says and he might change his mind, or do you believe this might have some sort of genuine impact on immigration in America?
I think it is going to have a genuine impact more on the perception, how the people will start thinking about US, but to implement it, it is just beyond. I don't think so.
All right, gentlemen, I'm out of time. I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us. Another very problematic statement from the US president, one way or the other. Yes, that tragic loss of life to an American police, a security official outside the White House a couple of days back, by somebody from Afghanistan who was come into the United States after having worked with US forces in Afghanistan. Deeply, deeply sad, a horrific tragedy. But, to sort of cast all migrants in America with that same brush stroke, some would suggest, is very, very wrong. We leave it there. Thank you very much for being with us. What we'd like to do now is actually bring you more details of what the US president has announced, plans, in fact, for what he calls a permanent pause on migration from all third world nations, along with ending federal benefits for non-citizens.
A deadly shooting just minutes away from the White House. One National Guard member killed, another fighting for his life. The suspected gunman, an Afghan national, triggering yet another crackdown and a sweeping escalation of America's immigration crackdown. In a sharp response to what he called an act of terror against the US, President Donald Trump announced a permanent halt on migration from third world countries, an outdated Cold War-era term used to refer to poor and developing countries.
This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country.
In typical Trump fashion, the US leader named no specific countries, nor did he clarify the criteria behind the sweeping label. However, he made it clear, any migrants or naturalized citizens undermining American security will be removed, and they will lose their federal benefits and subsidies. So what does this mean for India? For now, more uncertainty, as it remains unclear if India is even part of the country set to be targeted by the Trump administration. The escalation comes after the alleged gunman, identified by officials as a 29-year-old Afghan national, Rehmanullah Lakanwal, entered the US in a resettlement program set up by the Biden administration after the US military withdrawal from Afghanistan. However, unlike Trump's claims, the gunman was reportedly granted asylum this year under the Trump administration. While Lakanwal was in the US legally, this incident further bolsters Trump's immigration agenda, targeting both legal and illegal immigration. Trump had earlier also ordered a widespread review of asylum cases approved under Biden administration and green cards issued to citizens of 19 so-called high-risk countries, a move reminiscent of his first term. One single act of violence has cascaded into a crackdown that could reshape America's immigration system, strain international relationships, and redefine who gets to enter the United States. America's next chapter on immigration may already be unfolding, and for millions, the impact could be immediate and irreversible. Disha Bagchi for NDTV.
All right. Another difficult, problematic statement by the US president. Will this be legally tenable? Let's see. For the moment, from all of us here, goodbye.
They have inspired us. They have redefined what's possible. They have shown how ideas spark inspiration and create impact. NDTV Indian of the Year 2025. Ideas, inspiration, impact. Coming soon.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
21 days in Kashmir. People have bombarded me, friends, with requests for an unfiltered list of things I saw and observed on the ground.
Very special ground report from the line of control. There were some children who've lost limbs in the shelling.
They are now India's smallest but possibly the most powerful crime family. Cough syrup has killed at least 25 children. Gaikwad साहब ऐसे मत कीजिए. Suddenly people are wondering about the weaponization of India-Pakistan cricket. We live and breathe elections. You will not believe your eyes or ears when I show you what I'm about to do.
And for a country that has fought so many wars in the mountains and at high altitude.
We're standing on the Indian Navy's newest warship.
The line of control, Shiv Arun, NDTV.
On the open fairways, under a vast sky, a new chapter in golf was written. The inaugural NDTV PGTI Golf Pro-Am tournament, uniting business leaders and the best of Indian professional golf for a day of strategy, skill and pure sporting spirit. From booming drives to clutch putts, catch the action at these times.
Front lines of Kargil, the fury of Operation Sindhu,
So many attacks.
the chaos and cries of disaster zones, to fighter jet cockpits, and the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break, live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine.
In France, in Italy.
At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Fayakun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
On the open fairways, under a vast sky, a new chapter in golf was written. The inaugural NDTV PGTI Golf Pro-Am tournament, uniting business leaders and the best of Indian professional golf for a day of strategy, skill and pure sporting spirit. From booming drives to clutch putts, catch the action at these times.